TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
By 20, showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20 by 20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
20 by 20, showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20 by 20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
Everything gonna be okay. Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
I'm the captain now.
Captain Phillips, this edgy Saturday on TV3 at 8 p.m. TV3 at 20, reshaping news and creating stars in Ghana.
Hello there, you're welcome to Better Malt on the Go. And we're back.
Better Malt on the Go shows Saturdays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
Mission Ghana, live on News 360. Mission is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, DFID and the European Union.
I'm Samuel Kelly Bedu, reporting from Akosombo in the eastern region. I live in a neighborhood called Akradikotes. The government have left us. Whenever it's time for election, they always come around. They will do our road for us. You know, a businessman living in Accra called Nagot see to it that, yeah, we are suffering a lot because if the rainy season is coming, we can't have anywhere to walk through, you know, because there is flood everywhere and we can't even cross any river. Their children used to go to school, and because of that kind of flood, they can't even cross to go to school. So he sees to our situation for us and help us do the road. The government has to come to our aid and help us.
It's a Saturday edition of Midday Live with me, AC Benewanyame, ahead in the bulletin. Gaming Commission of Ghana confiscates and destroys over 1,500 slot machines at Swimland Field site in the eastern region. Government tax to be innovative in widening the tax net. And coming up in international news, United Nations sanctions monitors accuse South Sudan's government of using food as a weapon of war to target civilians by blocking life-saving aid in some areas. Thanks for staying with us. Let's move to our very first story. And inhabitants of Nkonya and Alavanyo say they are fed up with criminalities that have divided them. Speaking at a separate meeting with Volta Regional Peace Council, representatives of the two insist decades of conflict have stalled development. They called on government to support the Peace Council to restore lasting peace. Records available to the Volta Regional Peace Council indicates that over 80 lives have been lost in Alavanyo and in Nkonya since 1983. Hundreds of residents have also been maimed within the period. At least 6 persons were killed this year alone, 3 each from both sides of the divide. And the conflict appears to be deepening by the day. In September this year, the Volta Regional Peace Council stepped in with a reconciliatory initiative.
We asked the two communities to cease fire, and since we left, we never heard of any problem, either from Alavanyo or Nkonya. For peace to reign in these two communities, it should come from me and you.
Our area is the human needs approach. What are the felt needs on the ground for which people will be in conflict? And if we can satisfy those needs, then of course there will be no conflict.
At a SIP meeting on Tuesday, November 7, both communities showed a glimpse of remorse.
Our prayer now is that God should show us, the Nkonyans and Alavanyos, mercy. He should forgive us all iniquities and give us peace. We believe the time has come for us to be in peace with one another.
If we can come together and begin to talk and then find out where we made mistakes, and then we correct those mistakes, I think peace will soon come. So I'm sure all those who will hear this matter will be happy. We want you to remember that just as you have come, and we know when you go back, you are going to think about the points we have raised here.
Other members of the Peace Council took turns to urge the two communities to aid the peace process by letting go of the past and forging ahead with a common goal. Away from that, 6 babies born premature died in October this year at the St. Martin's Hospital in Agroyesum due to the absence of incubators. The worrying situation, according to the medical officers, is a hindrance to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals on health, which seeks to reduce child mortality.
Since the beginning of this year, the St. Martin's Hospital in the Amansie West District of the Ashanti region has recorded over 30 deaths of premature babies due to the unavailability of incubators. Premature babies are transferred over 40 kilometers to the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital to be incubated. Medical officer in charge of the neonatal intensive care unit, Dr. Nana Osei Apau, said the provision of incubators will help save lives.
The incubators, we can save a lot of life because even with our incubators, we normally do save a lot. We lose a few because we have a whole lot of them coming. Those that we lose are generally just a fraction, a small fraction. Even without the incubators, we are able to save a lot. So I think with the incubators, the mortality might even come to 0.
The increasing number of patients seeking medical attention on a daily basis at the hospital has increased from 150 to about 400. The hospital records an average of 200 deliveries monthly. The maternity ward frequently gets congested due to lack of space and inadequate beds. But the hospital, through its internally generated funds, has constructed a new maternity block to resolve the challenge. Meanwhile, hospital authorities are worried about delays in payment of NHIS claims.
Lack of resources or lack of repayment from the National Health Insurance. When you don't have the funds or the resources to be able to run a health facility, it always provides a big challenge. The other one is electricity. We do not have constant electricity, and so either we are spending so much on buying fuel for our generator or maintenance for our generators.
Hospital authorities are also raising concerns about the poor road network to the hospital. But the DCE for Amansie West, William Asante Bediako, promised to resolve the challenge.
Let's still stay on this particular issue, and 1 in 30 African women risk dying in childbirth, while thousands more suffer all their lives from the damaging physical and mental side effects of giving birth. Despite the merits of global, regional and national efforts and reaffirmation of commitments towards the issue, maternal, newborn and child mortality remains a silent emergency that had not stopped crying out for help. Globally, there are 358,000 maternal deaths a year, with Africa recording more than half of that at 53%. In May 2009, the African Union launched the campaign on accelerated reduction of maternal mortality in Africa. That's come out to trigger concerted and increased action towards improving maternal and new health and survival across the country. Well, so joining me in the studio right now is Dr. James Dua, and Dr. James Dua is Executive Director at the Christian Health Association of Ghana, and he's also a member of local organizing committee of KAMA to talk to us more about this particular issue. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us, Doc.
Good afternoon.
Well, so KAMA, what is it all about?
Well, KAMA simply stands for Campaign on Accelerated Reduction of Maternal and Child Mortality in Africa. Okay. Africa Union has chosen the theme Africa Cares. No woman should die whilst giving life. And particularly so because it is, maternal mortality is quite high in Africa. It is estimated that 1 in 16 women risk of dying from pregnancy-related causes, and that is why African Union has prioritized maternal mortality in Africa. So the commemoration this year, Ghana has been chosen to host the commemoration, and that is why we are talking about KAMA this year.
Well, good to know. It was launched, the campaign was launched in 2009. How successful has it been? Because we still record a lot of women dying, a lot of even babies also dying. How effective or how successful has it been?
I would say it's been very successful. So far, about 47 African countries have launched and are implementing policies on the KAMA. So by and large, it's been successful, and we want to encourage other African countries which have not launched it to launch it as well.
Well, if you say it has been successful, we want to know practically, because as I have said, we still record a number of maternal deaths and child deaths in the country.
Well, you will bear with me that not too long ago, maternal deaths, especially in Ghana, used to be quite high. If you take every 100,000 women who go to deliver, over 700 of them were dying every year. Okay. The situation has changed. As at the last records, if you have every 100,000 women who go to deliver, a little over 300 die. So that means that we've halved them. But that is not to say it is good. There's still much more to do. And so that is why this campaign is there, to harness on best practices that other African countries have adopted, which has ended them well. so that we also learn and other African countries can learn. Again, it seeks to also commit political leaders to this cause.
How committed are politicians or political leaders to this particular campaign?
I think in Ghana, the political commitment is high. You remember that not too long ago, Her Excellency Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo led the campaign to build that maternal facility at Kumfanoche. Today, if you go to every FM station, every TV station, radio station, they are talking about maternal mortality. And more importantly, you will find that previously, mothers who were attending prenatal care, or what other people call antenatal care, used not to be much. But today, over 74% of pregnant women attend antenatal care, which means that the campaign has worked. Mothers have understood the importance of attending prenatal care, and so they are attending. Yet there are a lot that we need to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think there are a lot. And so looking at the project, the interventions that you have used over the period, what more do you think needs to be done? Because as you have said, 75, there's still more, a lot more to go.
Yes. So this is what we need everyone to come on board. We want the youth to be on board. We want traditional leaders to be on board. We want communities where women live to be on board. We want our political leaders to be on board. We have challenges that need to be resolved, challenges to do with capacity building of our health professionals to be able to handle cases that they see. We also have challenges with referral systems. Today, many women go to the hospital. The challenge is how are they taken care of in the facility? Sometimes one facility cannot take care, and so there's a need to refer that person to another level of care. The transportation is the issue. Sometimes ambulance is not there. And even where you find ambulance service, they run out of fuel or they don't come in time. And if you have a woman who is bleeding, an ambulance arrives 3 hours later, what will happen would have happened. Okay. So we need to address our ambulance systems. Again, an important factor which causes maternal mortality is blood and blood products. Blood is not manufactured in the lab. Human beings have to donate it. And this is where we want the communities to be able to donate blood so that any woman who needs it at the point that he needs it and at the time that she needs it will be available to them.
Well, so this particular campaign is an effort by some regional, some countries. I would like to find out how supportive, these countries have been in achieving the goal.
Yes, AU has been very supportive of this, and what they seek to do is to encourage countries to put this as priority on their health agenda. Okay. As I said, maternal mortality is a proxy indicator of how well a country's health system is functioning. So where you have high maternal mortality, indirectly it means that the health system is not functioning very well. And it's been launched in 47 African countries, which means that countries have understood it, and AU officials are moving from one country to the other to support countries work on this maternal mortality issue.
So finally, before you leave, there's an upcoming conference. If you can tell us a bit about it briefly, then we wrap up.
Okay, thank you very much. So the whole of next week is dedicated to women in Africa. Because we are doing the commemoration for the whole continent in Ghana here, we will do a Durbar for chiefs, opinion leaders, and the young people at Gassaut Municipal Hospital. Okay. It will be preceded by a screening at the Malam Market. Everyone should be involved. Youth will speak, traditional leaders will speak. Then on Tuesday, our Honorable Minister of Health, Honorable Kokwa Jumamenu, will host the media.
Well, so it's a week-long event.
Yes.
Well, okay.
But specifically Wednesday, Thursday, that is when the main event is. It will be at Tank Palace Hotel, okay, where Her Excellency will be there, African Union officials will be there, ministers will be there, all agencies of the Ministry of Health will be there. and we are inviting the general public to be part of it.
Issues of maternal health obviously needs to be discussed, and I think that a lot more support will come in that regard. Thanks so much, Dr. James Dia, for joining us in the studio to have a discussion on this.
Let me have a correction. I'm the Deputy Executive Director.
Okay, that's great to know. All right, so that's Dr. James Dia speaking to us on issues of maternal health. Let's still move on to other stories. And headmistress of the Accra Girls Senior High School, Joyce Akolache, is calling on government to consider investing in solar power across the public schools nationwide. She said will ease the country's energy sector when all public schools are taken off the national grid on November 1 this year. Accra Girls installed a 5 kilowatts solar plant. Natalie Ford has more.
The Accra Girls Senior High School was used for the pilot program of the European Union in collaboration with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly through the United Nations Development Programme. A survey conducted by the EU revealed the school was amongst one of the most renewable energy-conscious schools in Ghana. The 5 kilowatt solar plant installed through the program provides 20 to 25 units of electricity daily. Headmistress of Accra Girls Senior High School, Joyce Akolache, is confident that the entire school will go solar in the near future.
Before the program was handed over to us, an audit of the way we're using energy in the school was done, and then they realized that the kitchen is where we used a lot of energy, and therefore decided to position the solar around the kitchen area. We are looking that it will go around the whole school. In fact, when they finish with the dormitories, to move into the classrooms. And as we use it and we realize that it's good, definitely we'll make sure that the entire school goes solar.
The bulbs in the dining hall have been changed to LED bulbs. There are roughly a remaining 220 bulbs to replace already existing bulbs at the school. Joyce Akolache wants the government to consider extending this policy to all public sector institutions nationwide.
In this day and age of free SHS, if we extend it to all public schools, that means we don't have any business in paying, energy bills. And I'm sure that is also going to cut down on our funds, and it will help the various schools.
The students have been trained on the essence and management of solar technology.
Has confiscated and destroyed over 1,500 slot machines at Nsawam landfill site in the eastern region. The commission says it will start arresting and prosecuting any gaming operator who fails to register with the Gaming Commission. A report by Frederick Clarence Williams. The Gaming Commission in recent times has received public backlash following activities of illegal operators, indiscriminate sighting of slot machines and a surge in gambling activities. According to the Gaming Commission, slot machines and other gaming equipment widely known as jackpots are to be registered and licensed. By law, they are to be placed within registered premises of gaming centers. Last month, the task force, together with the police, confiscated over 1,500 slot machines. According to the Gaming Commission, it is mandated to destroy and confiscate equipment at its disposal for more than 1 month. The Commission destroyed over 1,500 confiscated slot machines at Nsawam landfill site in the eastern region.
The Gaming Commission is raising the standard of gaming in this country. By so doing, we are cracking down on all illegal operations in Ghana. We're going everywhere. We're not leaving any stone unturned. Going around where the penalties, prosecutions going to come on, and a lot more of that.
Commissioner Peter Mriku said the exercise will be sustained to strengthen its monitoring and regulatory role to ensure the gaming industry meets international standards. He said the Commission would step up efforts to clamp down on unregistered centers and prevent children from engaging in the business.
These machines are not used anywhere. These are analog machines. What we intend to do, or what we are doing, by second quarter next year, we're migrating all the gaming industry from analog onto a digital platform, so we can plug in a central monitoring system to check.
He promised the commission will ensure an improvement in revenue generation. The Ghana Standards Authority is to register all importers of cable and publish their names and products they import on its website as part of measures to check the importation of substandard cables. The Director General of the authority noted the measure will help guide consumers who are in doubt about genuineness of any cable on the market.
In 2016, over 3,000 fire outbreaks were recorded in the first quarter of the year. Data from the National Fire Service indicate a total of 1,897 fires were recorded over the same period this year, representing an 85% reduction. Most of the fires, according to the fire service, were as a result of electrical faults, even though negligence, carelessness and ignorance were also factors. Substandard cables and poor wiring or connections have been a major contributory factor. The Ghana Standards Authority has the mandate to test and certify the quality of cables. We are currently at the electrical cable testing lab of the Ghana Standards Authority. Here, all forms of cables, those that are manufactured locally and imported ones, are supposed to be tested and certified here before they find themselves on our market.
The conductor resistance is a minimum requirement, and 1.5 mm cable should have 12.1 ohm per kilometer. Now, if the copper is very pure, we believe that it will not cause fire when your electrical wiring system are okay. You do not overload your appliance or your terminal. To get a refined copper is expensive, but that is the requirement of the standard. Therefore, if they use a cheap copper, you are going to get a conductor resistance which is higher than the minimum requirement, and that makes it cheap for them. Unfortunately, Ghanaians want to buy this into the market, and then the unsuspecting public buys, and then they are cheated.
How much of this do we have on our market?
Well, I can say that over 80% of the cables we have in the market are very, very bad.
The Executive Director of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, admits his outfit has not lived up to its mandate.
I think it's a two-way issue. One of them has been that hitherto our market surveillance would have been much less ideal, or it's weak, bluntly.
Currently, what is the key, most important element of measures that you are instituting to ensure that this situation is brought under control?
Within the next 4 weeks, GSA will be publishing to all Ghanaians the results of the market surveillance on the products on the market. We will let Ghanaians know the proportion which are failing, and naturally those which are failing would have to be removed from the market. You cannot let it be sold to anyone.
Consumers need to be empowered to be able to at least identify correct cable that conforms to standards.
We have marking requirements, okay, labeling and marking requirements. The cable should have brand name, country of origin, the standard specification, the size of the cable, the color of the cable. Okay, so manufacturer's name or address should also be there.
Clearly, there is more to be done in ensuring that cables on the market conform to safety standards.
You're watching Midday Live. President Akufo-Addo has urged the chairman of Jospon Group of Companies, Dr. Joseph Sian, to focus on his business and deal with controversies surrounding him with a strong heart. The president gave the advice when he addressed management and staff of the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant Station at Ajen Kotoku on the second day of his Greater Accra tour. The president was at the plant to familiarize himself with activities of the station as part of his 3-day Greater Accra tour. The Compost and Recycling Station is an integrated waste recycling company which receives, sort and process the recycled, solid and liquid waste and produce organic manure for agronomic purposes in Ghana and across the sub-region.
Ghana is committed to the attainment of the goals outlined in Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, reaching the objective inclusive of goal number 6. Demand that we ensure the provision of clean environment sanitation, management to protect our ecosystem and have a healthy environment. If we have a problem in this country, we must first look for a Ghanaian solution.
President Akufo-Addo advised the company to be focused to meet its set target.
I have to say more grace to your elbow. And the contribution to our social life is inestimable. We have to encourage you. When you are in the forefront of doing things like you are, you'll be the subject of controversy. It goes with the territory. But I know you a little bit. I know you're capable of handling the controversy and staying focused.
He promised government support.
We have confidence in Ghanaian entrepreneurs. What with encouragement, the proper policy framework is possible. I believe strongly that the Ghanaian business class, private sector, entrepreneurs have to be in the forefront of the social and economic transformation of our country.
The president next met with spare parts dealers at the Aboseo-Kine Spare Parts Market. Chairman of the spare parts dealers, Joseph Paddy, urged government to streamline the wayfaring retailers to ensure the sustainability of local businesses. President Akufo-Addo promised government resolve to address their challenges.
As a budget by money, the urban more who say, the man you answer to me bad na preocupesa. As I say, a year to boss, near sister near ma, and son a bar, a beba.
The day was climaxed with the Debar of chiefs and people of Gamashi and Osu. President of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Ni Kinkadawena and Osumante, called for increments in the quarterly subvention of chiefs. President Akufo-Addo asked for support and promised to fulfill all promises.
Next week, budget ni baba.
The three-day tour ends on Monday. 27-year-old Mabel Amegboto has been diagnosed with facial tumor. Doctors at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital say she needs 6,550 cedis to undergo surgery. Doctors fear her situation may become terminal if surgery is not done on time.
According to her family, the tumor started as a small swelling on her tongue. 3 years on, the tumor started growing bigger and now getting out of hand. Mabel now bleeds continuously each day and shows symptoms of fatigue, loss of appetite, sleeplessness and loss of weight. Mabel is battling with facial tumor and needs 6,550 cedis to undergo surgery. She is an orphan, and her uncle, who is taking care of her, said they have already exhausted all their funds on Mabel's health, moving from one hospital to the other.
Actually, would love to do it more often. I think we should all do it because this is a great program you guys are doing, and it takes money to do what you are doing, and therefore you need support from everybody. And I would love to come back again and do it again.
Meanwhile, children from Immaculate Heart Nursery School have donated 500 Ghana cedis to help Mabel to offset some of her medical bills. Proprietress of the school, Nicolina Ejebene, said the donation was to inculcate the spirit of giving in the children. Officer in charge of social support, Akosia Ejei Sono, received the donation on behalf of the MG social support team. Leader of the kids had this to say.
Next time when you are coming, how much will you be bringing?
10,000 and million.
Okay.
150,000 million.
Sympathizers should kindly send their donations to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital or to the TV3 newsroom.
I know the kids know what they're really talking about, but no contribution is too small. We're still open for more donations to support such children. This is still Midday Live with me, AC Benewa Otu. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your home is the place you long to be forever. Ghana, get ready for your one-stop destination of choice in perfecting that dream home. It is the biggest super discounted fair ever, dubbed the Ghana Home and Lifestyle Fair. This is the biggest platform for all manufacturers, dealers, importers, suppliers of electronic appliances and home decor and accessories, lifestyle products, homeowners, and related home services such as internet, security, and insurance companies to showcase their products and services to the public. Date Friday 24th to Sunday 26th November 2017 at Golden Tulip Hotel, Accra. To book your stand or to sponsor the Ghana Home and Lifestyle Fair, please call 0244-627-609 or pick up your registration form at TV3 premises, Kanda. The Ghana Home and Lifestyle Fair is sponsored by Golden Tulip Hotel, Accra, media partners, and supported by The Mirror, powered by 3FM 92.7 TV3 and brought to you by Planet One Multimedia.
On behalf of the board and management of PZ Castles Ghana, we want to celebrate you for this major milestone. And we want to wish you well in the several other decades ahead of you.
TV3 has helped to grow the GTV brand, especially on the platform called Ghana's Most Beautiful. We wish TV3 well. May TV3 continue to provide Ghanaians the best of entertainment and credible news.
On the occasion of the 20th anniversary celebrations of TV3, we wish you all the best, as we believe we still have a lot in common. Once again, happy 20th anniversary to TV3.
Another day, drama TV3 Trinkwa, so 20 years. We need TV3 for Ayajuma. 10 years yatamochi ewo dwuma die bia modi ya ma TV3 trinkwa ya ma wo ma finshapa.
Mission Ghana, live on News 360. Mission is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, DFID, and the European Union.
The time has come to back 4 of Ghana's most beautiful women in the final of GMB 2017. Where will you be when the crown changes heads from Yaba to one of these? Be at the Accra International Conference Center on Sunday, November 19, 6 p.m. prompt for the grand finale of what has been a highly competitive and unpredictable GMB 2017. Who wears the crown, who owns the car, and who will be on that Kenya Airways flight to Dubai to raid out of Ghana? And to cap it all, brace yourselves for some electrifying performances from Miss V, Kwame Eugene. Anywhere you there, I go there. Remember, we are redefining beauty to promote national unity. GMB 2017, straight out of Ghana.
Ghana's most beautiful. Brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil. Camel, now from Carex. Bond Savings and Loans. Carnival Strawberry. Madar Powdered Soap. Enapa Mackerel. Onga Tablet and Seasoning. GTP, still timeless. Tabia Herbal Mixture. Oba Spaghetti. Remy Spices. Tenatet Vencare. Royal Drinks. Holy Trinity Spa and Health Farm. Arata Motors. Chris Beauty range of products. Deluxe Paint. Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa. Satguru Travels, a complete travel solution. Davis Palace. And Time Herbal Mixture. Log on to www.3news.com for more news and updates of our major stories. Join us on Facebook 3newsgh for live streaming and comments on our page. Like and follow us on Twitter at 3newsgh and at 3sportsgh. Like our pictures on Instagram, TV3 Network. If you missed our live shows, watch a playback on YouTube, TV3GH. TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
Government to ensure that the 2018 budget institutes measures that will mobilize enough revenue for the country after failing to meet its revenue targets for the first 3 quarters of this year. Stakeholders want government to be innovative in widening the tax net.
Revenue and grants performance for the first 7 months of the year, which was expected to be 24 billion cedis, fell short by 3.2 billion cedis. According to the Bank of Ghana's latest monetary policy summary report, the continued revenue underperformance could pose some challenges to the fiscal outlook. The report maintains that revenue performance has been undermined by low import levels, slower pace of implementation of specific tax measures, revision of tax assessments, and a sluggish non-oil real sector. A research fellow at the IES, Dr. Osei wants government to address the issue of revenue mobilization as it readies to present the 2018 budget.
Central bank financing is now down to about 0%. Then the only way that government can execute its budget is to mobilize enough domestic revenue. I mean, mind you that this government is focusing more on social policies, which is very heavy on expenditure. So in a situation where you're not going to borrow that much or, allow the central bank to finance certain key aspect of the budget, then of course your only trump card is to making sure that you look within.
Former Minister of State in charge of public-private partnerships, Dr. Abdul Rashid Pelpo, shared a similar view.
We are failing in our revenue budget, mobilization. Our targets are failing. How will this budget make amends? So even though we are failing, the fundamentals can be better.
The Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, is cautioning government against over-reliance on agriculture as government readies to present the 2018 budget. A research fellow at the IEA, Dr. Osei, tells TV3 Business the move by government to focus heavily on agriculture in 2018 is unnecessary.
Policymakers have been asked to allocate not less than 10% of the government's annual budget to the agriculture sector. Such a move, they believe, would help increase production in the agri sector by at least 6% annually. Government has subsequently indicated that it will prioritize agriculture and health in the 2018 budget as a measure to grow the economy and create jobs. But the Institute of Economic Affairs says too much investment has already been made into the agri sector this year.
If you look at the planting for food and job creation, you could see that a lot of investments have gone into agricultural production. And this year too, the rains have been quite good. So we're really looking at a very good performance from agri. We shouldn't only focus on agricultural production, or the farming processes and increase harvest. I don't think that is the way to go.
Dr. Sesibe insists luring private sector participation into the agric sector is enough to sustain growth.
We need investments, sustainable investments into the area, and the private sector are playing a pivotal role in that respect. I think that is what is needed now, and that will call for government building a very competitive infrastructure along that value chain.
Meanwhile, Besemanche, New Kinda III, is also worried lack of proper structures by successive governments to drive growth is a bane of the country's problems.
We've had the statistics about other countries which were far below us during the independence era. But these countries are now way ahead of us in terms of their economic development. And I think we need to really think hard. We need to do the proper structuring.
And to the labor front now, and the Ghana Employers Association has implored informal sector employers to desist from terminating appointments of employees without recourse to the Labour Act 651. The association is of the view such terminations flouts the Labour Act and could compel the affected employees to drag them to court.
The Ghana Employers Association made observation during a press interaction in Accra. Discussions with the press emphasized on the need to explain the dictates of the Labour Act 651 to those in the informal sector. Already, the informal sector employs more than 60% of the Ghanaian workforce. According to the Ghana Employers Association, it will sensitize employers to desist from terminating the appointment of the employees in the informal sector without recourse to the Labour Act. Director of Industrial Relations at the Ghana Employers Association, Joseph Kingsley Amwa, also spoke on occupational health and safety hazards in the informal sector.
We also we are trying to sensitize them on occupational health and safety, because we realize that some of these informal employers and workers, they operate in like welders. There's definitely welders and others. So issues about occupational health and safety is very critical.
Head of Corporate Affairs for the Trade Union Congress, Papa Dankwa, assured to impress upon governments to remove taxes on minimum wage.
Looking at wages, we are looking at compliance with minimum wage. We are looking at enhanced wages beyond minimum wage, depending on the kind of workplace in the informal economy we are talking about, if we want to enhance the welfare of our people, generally speaking.
A labor economist, Benjamin Osei, urged government to streamline operations in the informal sector to expand the tax net.
Most of them are not even registered. They are unregistered. They have to be registered so that their identity becomes visible. It is through that we'll be able to talk about putting them on wages and salaries, or something like a salary that you could tax them.
We have sports news coming up with Yao Ofusulabi. Stay with us.
MTN Video Report is a citizen report from individuals wherever they are in Ghana and beyond. This will provide an opportunity to those the issues concern to make a report on it directly.
My name is Hashim Mizrawa. I'm David, reporting from the Northern region.
Reporting from the Western region.
Send in photos and videos of any news or events breaking in any part of the country where they are located and narrate your story to 055 143 3044. MTN Video Report is powered by MTN everywhere you go. Your home is the place you long to be forever. Ghana, get ready for your one-stop destination of choice in perfecting that dream home. It is the biggest super discounted fair ever, dubbed the Ghana Home and Lifestyle Fair. This is the biggest platform for all manufacturers, dealers, importers, suppliers of electronic appliances and home decor and accessories, lifestyle products, homeowners, and related home services such as internet, security, and insurance companies to showcase their products and services premises to the public. Date Friday 24th to Sunday 26th November 2017 at Golden Tulip Hotel, Accra. To book your stand or to sponsor the Ghana Home and Lifestyle Fair, please call 0244-627-609 or pick up your registration form at TV3 premises, Kanda. The Ghana Home and Lifestyle Fair is sponsored by Golden Tulip Hotel, Accra, media partners, and supported by The Mirror. Powered by 3FM 92.7 TV3 and brought to you by Planet One Multimedia. TV3 at 20, reshaping news and creating stars.
Now, we are even telling teachers they can't beat the children. I fear for the next generation.
Why? Why do you fear for the next generation?
When we raise people who don't know what discipline is and what authority is, we are creating people who are a danger to themselves because they wouldn't know any limits.
20 by 20, showing this Sunday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
Right, back from that break, let's still Midday live here on TV3. My name is Yao. We'll be on to some sports stories now. And ahead of Ghana's game against the Pharaohs of Egypt, who are already through to the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia, Black Stars players Christian Achu, Richmond Boachiyadon, Godfred Donsa, and Ibn Zofori are eager to win against Egypt in the final game on Sunday.
Playing against Egypt, this is a big game, and you want to improve yourself. And Ghanaians, I believe, they will not like if we lose this game or draw. So anytime we are fighting for the nation, we make sure we win. The Black Stars is not for only the players, for the 25 million people in Ghana. So we just want to win for Ghanaians.
It is an opportunity to showcase Ghanaians that we could have done better, but unfortunately we couldn't make the mark. So you use that last game to tell Ghanaians we are very sorry that we couldn't do what you people were expecting. But this is what we could have done. Though it's too late, but if you put in every effort for Ghanaians to see, wow, this team, for the next year, they can prove Africa that they are this, they are that. This game should be a game that all of us should give our 100%, more than 100%, and we'll make an amends within the next year. So I think this game is not a game for us to relax or to think that we didn't qualify.
It won't be a different ball game together, because what we've been doing in Europe is what we came down here to do. And the most important is the 3 points. That is what we are looking forward to. It's not that you coming to showcase yourself, so when you get the ball, you do what.
Well, yet players from the Black Stars still very optimistic ahead of that game. But Senegal are finally through to the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia after beating South Africa by 2-0 at the Peter Mokaba Stadium in Polokwane. The Teranga Lions became the African side to book a place to the 2018 World Cup in Russia. Senegal seized the second chance, and it was given to them by FIFA to beat South Africa by 2-0 in a replay of a game that they lost last year. This would be Senegal's second appearance at the World Cup stage after their remarkable run in the 2002 World Cup in Korea and Japan. Senegal joins Nigeria and Egypt as qualifiers from Africa so far. The last two qualifying spots in Africa will be decided on Saturday. Well, there's no turning back to the Ghana Premier League for Accra Great Olympics after their protest against Accra Hearts of Oak was squashed by the Ghana Football Association Disciplinary Committee. Accra Great Olympics were seeking the Ghana Football Association to annul the results of a March Day 25 game which Accra Hearts of Oak won by 2-1 for failing to pay a fine within the stipulated time before playing in their March Day 25 Ghana Premier League game played at the Accra Sports Stadium in contravention of Articles 39B and 39D of the General Regulations of the Ghana Football Association. But after hearing both the petitioner and the defendant, the committee concluded to decline the invitation by the petitioner to descend into the arena of absurdity and, in the interest of justice, dismissed the instant protest in its entirety. Well, on to more stories. And Neymar starred as Brazil ramped up their World Cup preparations with a 3-1 win over Japan on Friday, while France saw off Wales by 2-0 in Paris.
Talisa. Griezmann! What a brilliant finish! Beautifully flighted through ball from Talisa. And Antoine Griezmann barely broke stride.
"20x20" showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20x20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
"20x20" showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20x20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
"20x20" showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20x20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
"20x20" showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20x20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
"20x20" showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20x20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
"20x20" showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20x20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
"20x20" showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20x20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
By 20, showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20 by 20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
20 by 20, showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20 by 20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
20 by 20, showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20 by 20. TV3 at 20. 20 years in the lives of 20 prominent Ghanaians. Looking 20 years before and 20 years beyond.
20 by 20, showing this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TV3.
20 by 20.
La Princière Mission. Et c'est un